legend, you know. Very strong. He's very, very fast. And he's still Manny Pacquiao looks like 10.
Manny has so much experience. That man, he could get through anything. You know, as long as they have the right plan, whatever they do, man, they have that. They'll be able.
This guy is everything I would want to be, you know, as a career, as a fighter, because he did everything, like, you know, with such grace, and he did, you know, put up spectacular.
He was once one of the most feared, relentless, and highly respected fighters of his generation, carving out a legacy that few could ever match. Decades after his prime, Manny Pacquiao still stands tall as a living legend whose name commands awe and admiration across the boxing world. Even the current crop of elite fighters, many of whom idolized him growing up, speak of Pacquiao with unwavering reverence and respect. But what exactly makes Pac-Man such a unique and extraordinary figure? What is it about this record-shattering 8-division world champion that continues to amaze, inspire, and yes, even intimidate some of the best and brightest in the sport today? With the stunning news of his decision to return to the ring and challenge the rising WBC welterweight title holder Mario Barrios, Pacquiao has once again electrified the boxing community. The shockwaves of his comeback have rippled through every corner of the sport, and fighters across all weight classes are openly expressing what makes this legendary warrior so different. So here's a deeper look at what today's top names in boxing are saying about Manny Pacquiao, and why many still believe he might just be the final true unicorn in modern boxing, a fighter whose legacy continues to grow even as he defies father time.
Do you think he's too old at 46 to fight Barrios?
I can't say if he's too old or not. You know, if he get in there and win, then...
Across the entire boxing landscape, past legends, current champions, rising prospects, there's a rare consensus. Manny Pacquiao is a once-in-a-lifetime fighter. He's not revered solely because of what he's achieved, but because of how he continues to conduct himself inside and outside the ring with humility, discipline, and grace. He's earned the respect of his peers not through marketing or hype, but through decades of sacrifice, brilliance, and heart. The question now is, where do you, the fans, place him among the all-time greats? Do you believe he still has what it takes to become a world champion at 46 years old? Can he defy time once more and add one more legendary chapter to his story? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into boxing, royalty, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories from the heart of the fight game.
I don't put no limit on an all-time great like Manny Pacquiao.
And let's not overlook Teofimo Lopez, the brash and talented 2-division champion known for making big statements both in and out of the ring. Lopez is no stranger to confidence, but even he tipped his hat to Pacquiao's most powerful weapon, experience. According to Teofimo, Manny's years in the sport have armed him with a fight IQ that few can match, and that intelligence, when combined with a solid game plan, makes him dangerous against anyone, even today. For Lopez, it's not just about raw speed or punching power anymore. It's about knowing when to strike, when to pivot, and how to control a fight with timing and precision. And Pacquiao, in his view, still possesses those tools. That kind of insight shows the depth of respect younger champions have for Manny, not just for what he's done, but for what he's still capable of doing when the lights are on.
It's surprising. Obviously, I know Manny very well. You know, he's a true competitor. He's a guy that if you put something in his head, and obviously to create more history, he's a guy that's going to give everything. And you know,
even Errol Spence Jr., who was originally slated to face Pacquiao before being sidelined by a sudden eye injury, has shown nothing but genuine respect for what Manny represents. Though the two never got to exchange punches in the ring, Spence understood the significance of simply being part of that moment, of preparing for a legend, and of being mentioned in the same breath. He acknowledged the sheer weight of Manny's legacy, the decades of excellence, the wars fought, the belts won across 8 divisions. For Spence, sharing even promotional space with someone of Pacquiao's stature was a moment of validation in itself. And while the fight didn't materialize, the respect was mutual and palpable. It wasn't about money or headlines. It was about legacy. And Manny's legacy is one that even his would-be opponents honor with sincerity.
Man, you honor the man that always sparring. I love that guy. So, but again, he's a legend. And he turns it on.
And then there's Vasily Lomachenko, widely considered one of the most technically gifted and naturally talented boxers of his generation. Lomachenko's footwork is the stuff of legend, his ring control nearly flawless, and his ability to see and anticipate movements has led many to joke that he's operating in slow motion while the rest of the world scrambles to keep up. So when a fighter like Loma compliments another boxer's movement, it's not just flattery, it's high praise from one master to another. He's gone on record saying that Pacquiao is fast, strong, and yes, a living legend. He even pointed out something few have the eye to catch, that Manny still moves with the same explosive quickness and unpredictability he had a decade ago. In an age where fighters slow down dramatically past 35, the fact that Pacquiao still looks spry, powerful, and dynamic is almost unreal. It's like he's found his own version of the fountain of youth.
To have an opportunity like that to spar 250 rounds with one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he won world titles in 8 divisions?
8 divisions, 13 or 14 world titles.
Crazy.
It will never be done again.
Crazy.
And as much as you want to see records broken, and I want to break records, that man is a one-of-one.
What's even more astonishing is that Algieri didn't walk into that fight with Pacquiao unprepared or undertrained. On the contrary, he's admitted in multiple interviews that his training camp for that bout was among the very best of his entire career. He had everything dialed in: his diet, his conditioning, his sparring, his strategy. He entered the ring in peak physical shape, equipped with a game plan he truly believed in. And yet, it still wasn't enough. Manny Pacquiao overwhelmed him with speed, angles, and yes, power. That fight served as a testament to Pacquiao's greatness, not because Algieri was a weak opponent, but because even at his best, he was outclassed by a legend performing at a level few can comprehend. It's the kind of fight that leaves lasting respect, the kind you carry with you long after the final bell.
Manny Pacquiao, he's going to be inducted in the Hall of Fame. He's an inductee.
Wait, he isn't inducted yet?
Not yet. He's an inductee.
Wait. So Manny Pacquiao is not inducted in the Hall of Fame?
Not yet. What does he mean to the sport of boxing?
No, wait. Y'all just haven't fucked up. Wait. The one
dude,
the 8th division champion not inducted to the Hall of Fame. So, I mean, obviously now he's about to.
And Tank Davis isn't alone. Chris Algieri, a former WBO junior welterweight champion and seasoned contender who faced Pacquiao in 2014, has repeatedly spoken about Manny's power and skill. On more than one occasion, Algieri has shocked fans and analysts by stating that Pacquiao actually hits harder than Errol Spence Jr., a man widely known for his punishing strength and size at welterweight. Let that sink in. Spence is no joke. He's considered one of the most physically dominant fighters in the division. Yet, it was Manny, smaller on paper and supposedly past his peak, who left the stronger impression in terms of sheer force. That kind of statement doesn't come from hype. It comes from experience. From a fighter who's been hit by both men and knows what it means to absorb their power. That's the kind of praise that reinforces Pacquiao's almost mythical status in the ring.
That's one of my idols. Like, I really look up to Pacquiao. Like, people don't know, but like, he's one of the people I look at. I'm like, man, like, this guy is everything I would want to be,
Of course, whether Pacquiao can actually defeat the much younger and physically fresher Mario Barrios is a question only time can answer. But one thing is already absolutely clear. Manny Pacquiao is still regarded with the highest level of respect by his peers, and not just out of courtesy or nostalgia. These are the very same fighters who studied his footwork, who mimicked his style in gyms, who watched his battles late at night, dreaming they could one day share the ring with him, or become him. Some of them were mentored or directly influenced. By him, others were shaped by his legacy. Pacquiao's comeback isn't just about chasing one more belt. It's about reminding the world, and perhaps reminding himself, why his name is etched in boxing history. And when even a notorious trash talker like Gervonta Tank Davis can't help but show love, you know it's real. Despite his usual bravado, Tank had nothing but praise for Manny, calling him a cool guy, someone genuine and respectful, a rare compliment coming from one of the sport's most fiery personalities.
It's a fight because he did everything with such grace and he did, hit up spectacular fights, helped out his community. I'm trying to do things similar like that, but me, I'm more of I want to get back to, the younger generation. I want to help them.
And we can't talk about today's elite fighters without mentioning Devin Haney, the slick, cerebral two-division champion who's become known for his precise technique and calm demeanor inside the ropes. Haney, too, was quick to acknowledge Pacquiao's legendary status. He didn't sugarcoat it. He called Manny a true icon of the sport, and he warned that people should not be fooled by his age. According to Haney, Pacquiao's timing, ring IQ, and strategic mindset are still razor-sharp, even if he's no longer in his 20s. In Haney's view, age is a factor, but it's not the only one. And when it comes to someone like Manny, it's certainly not a deal-breaker. That sentiment of refusing to count Manny out is something echoed by many of today's champions. Pacquiao, in their eyes, isn't just a former champ. He's a living storm, a man whose career reads like mythology, and whose comeback feels less like a farewell and more like the next chapter in an epic story that never really ended.
I think Pacquiao is a legend. I think that he's a real good fighter, and I think that people underestimate his skills because he's older or he lost to Floyd. But I still think that he has a lot of story, and I think that he could beat a lot of the top guys here. So I don't know.
Garcia went on to speak about Pacquiao's immense impact outside the ring, his humanitarian efforts, his charitable work, and his passion for helping those in need. According to Ryan, it's this side of Manny that inspired him the most, perhaps, even more than the highlight reel knockouts and championship belts. He said Manny's dedication to giving back and uplifting communities has shaped how he wants to use his own fame and platform. For someone as image-conscious and media-savvy as Garcia, those kinds of values don't go unnoticed. And that's the beauty of Manny Pacquiao's legacy. It transcends boxing. He's not just a fighter who inspires people to train harder. He's a man who inspires others to be better, more generous human beings. That's a kind of influence that can't be measured in title belts. It's felt in lives changed.
So really quick, tell me about Manny Pacquiao coming to visit you. He flew all the way from the Philippines to watch you fight. Yeah, it's like an 18-hour flight.
That was dope.
He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's cool.
Did he give you any advice or tips?
Yeah, I don't think he gave me no tip, but it definitely was fire to have him come.
Surprise you.
Yeah, it was a surprise, bro. That was fire.
And then there's Ryan Garcia, whose reaction to Pacquiao's return was less flashy and far more emotional. Garcia, one of the sport's biggest young stars and a social media juggernaut, has never been shy about his feelings toward Manny. In fact, he's repeatedly called Pacquiao his idol, saying things like, "Manny was everything I ever wanted to be." But Garcia's respect for Manny goes well beyond boxing technique or ring accomplishments. For him, it's about who Pacquiao is as a person. The humility, the heart, the way he treats people with kindness and generosity. In Manny, Ryan sees not only a fighter to emulate, but a role model in every sense of the word. And that kind of admiration, coming from someone constantly in the public eye and navigating the pressures of fame, shows just how deeply Pacquiao's influence extends.
Remember when I fought Errol Spence, and he was the first fighter to ever stop me, and everyone was asking, man, I mean, he must hit harder than Pacquiao and Ruslan. And I said, no, actually, he doesn't hit harder than either. They both hit harder than him. Well, how did he stop him? Like, he hit me with a lot. It wasn't the one punch. It was the number of punches that he landed on me that was able to
Another unexpected but noteworthy reaction came from one of boxing's more colorful and outspoken characters, Rolando "Rolly" Romero. Known for his over-the-top bravado, wild interviews, and his recent high-profile win against Ryan Garcia, Rolly is the kind of guy who doesn't hold back, ever. So when he was asked about Manny's Hall of Fame induction, he gave a typically dramatic yet surprisingly respectful take. According to him, Manny should have been inducted years ago, and the fact that it hadn't happened earlier was, in his words, borderline disrespectful. And while his tone may have carried his usual sarcasm and comedic edge, there was no mistaking the genuine admiration buried underneath. Even someone like Romero, who thrives on controversy and confidence, couldn't deny what Manny represents. If a fighter like Rolly, who mocks everyone, shows respect, you know it's earned.
Trajectory was so fast. It was exponential how quickly I got from, literally fighting in my hometown to fighting Manny Pacquiao in Macau. It was such a blur at the time. I was just so focused. I think a couple days ago you said that I was like the nerd in school. Well, I was a nerd in the gym too. I left no stone unturned. I trained so hard. I did everything right. I went to sleep early. All my food was perfect. My training was exceptional. I had all the good sparring partners. I left no stone unturned. And that was the way that I was able to deal with any kind of nerves going into a fight. Homework. I did my homework. So I was prepared. I always knew I was prepared for every fight.
In fact, this admiration isn't something new for Kambosos. He's spoken highly of Manny Pacquiao on numerous occasions throughout his career. One memorable instance was during his appearance on the Joe Rogan podcast, where he offered glowing praise for the Filipino legend. He called Pacquiao one in a billion, a fighter so unique and gifted that it's hard to imagine anyone ever replicating his accomplishments. He even went so far as to declare that Manny's record of becoming an 8-division world champion is not only unmatched, but likely untouchable for generations to come. And he's probably right. The physical, mental, and emotional toll required to achieve that kind of feat is staggering. And in today's boxing climate, with its politics and divided titles, it's hard to see anyone navigating 8 divisions with the same dominance. Kambosos' words echoed the thoughts of fans and fighters alike. Pacquiao's legacy isn't just secure, it's immortal.
And big pleasure fight with legend, Very strong, he's very, very fast. And still Manny Pacquiao looks like...
He didn't just stop there. Kambosos went on to praise Pacquiao's legendary discipline and unwavering commitment to the sport, qualities that have become synonymous with the Filipino icon. In his view, Manny's mindset and dedication are on a completely different level, something that can't simply be taught or mimicked. He even stated, without hesitation, that Manny still has what it takes to become champion again, a bold proclamation given Pacquiao's age and time away from the sport. But coming from someone who has gone toe-to-toe with world champions and knows firsthand the level of grit it takes to succeed at the highest level, those words reflect a deep and honest belief. Kambosos wasn't just being generous, he was voicing what many in the fight game quietly believe, that Manny Pacquiao's return isn't just a nostalgic spectacle. It's a serious threat to anyone standing in his way, fueled by the same fire that carried him to global greatness.